All right, today we are starting a new commission, a sideboard for a Tudor-style home and some floating shelves. So I have the bulk of the design sketched out, but first I need to mock up some samples of some of the design details for the client to finalize. On a past video where I created some samples, someone asked me if I charged for these samples. In a way, yes, they are included in the bid. How I approach custom work is I ask for a 10% deposit of the budget as a retainer fee to create the design drawings and samples. So now when determining the budget, I don't ask the client what their budget is, as this can create some tension. Whenever someone asks me what my budget is, in my mind I'm thinking, what if I say $5,000 and they were thinking $3,000, but since I said $5,000, now they're going to charge me $5,000 and give me $3,000 worth of work. So I never really want to create that kind of tension with the client. I just want it to be an open conversation. So I never ask them what their budget is. I instead come up with what I think their budget should be. So to do this, I ask a lot of questions, like how big they want the thing, what type of woods or materials they like, what kind of artistry design that they're looking for in the piece, how they're going to use the piece. We basically have a conversation about what their expectations are and what they want me to build for them. And then once I have a pretty good idea of what they are looking for, then I can do a quick calculation to come up with what I think the budget number should be for their project. Now, at this point in the conversation, I don't add up every little board and every little hinge and every little screw. I'm basically just trying to figure out what the overall material costs and labor costs. Over the years, I've built enough things now that I know that an end table is going to take me a couple days to build. A dresser is going to take me probably a month to build. So I can really quickly determine based on what they're asking me or what they're telling me that they want built for them, that I can know, okay, this is going to take me about a month to build and it's probably going to be X amount of dollars in materials. So I can do a really quick calculation to come up with a broad budget at this point. So just to keep the math easy at this point, let's say hypothetically this job is a $10,000 job. So I tell the client that we'd be around $10K, and if they say, hey, that sounds good, let's move forward, then I ask them for a 10% deposit to do all the design drawings and samples. All right, so then once the client pays the design deposit, that acts as a retainer fee to retain me to do all the design drawings. So I need to keep in mind when I'm designing this thing that I have $1,000 to do all the drawings and create any kind of samples I need and buy any kind of materials I need to create the samples, and that I have $9,000 to design the piece. So I need to keep my design within that $9,000 budget. So this process has worked really well for both myself and my clients. As craftspeople, how many times have we spent hours creating a quote for a potential client who never calls us back? By asking for a retainer fee, this protects us from being ghosted and wasting our time. It also protects the client. There have been several times where I felt the client didn't want to give me feedback because they were being too nice. They knew I had spent a lot of time on their drawings and design and they liked it, but they didn't want to ask me to go back and change some things because they knew that would be more time added. So now that I've asked for a retainer fee to draw their designs, we have already had this conversation about design revisions, that yes, you can ask for design revisions. That's part of the retainer fee. So now they don't feel bad about asking for a revision. They can say, hey, I really like this thing, but it would be cool if we added this. And so then I can go back and redesign it, and then they are getting a design that they absolutely love. So this collaborative process can take a good design and make it even better. So design doesn't happen just in a little box. The more inputs you get, the better design you can come up with. And when the client is part of that collaboration, it can really make that design pop. So yeah, I stopped doing free bids a few years ago, and ever since then I haven't been wasting my time on projects that don't go anywhere, and the clients have the peace of mind that the piece that they're ordering from me is going to be just what they wanted or even better. All right, so I got my stain samples done and finished put on them, and a couple of different little samples here. So that's the drawer front detail, and then I routed one side so it'll fit in here to give us the door front detail. That way they can visualize that. Then we have a little detail that if they like it, we're gonna put it in there. And that'll be at the top of the legs detail. And then 4 different stain samples. So get these sent off, and with any luck, we'll be building a new sideboard here in the next few weeks.